Alright, hey everybody. It's not so windy today, I get to stand outside. So it's day 19 of Budget Watch 2017. The natives are restless. There's still not much happening. So still no deal. I heard last night that Inman was at 5% on GPT, which is still the holdup. So the Democrats, Inman was at 5%, that Speaker McCall was at 3%, and that Senator Schultz, suggested 4%, but then Inman was still at 5%. So that's what I heard last night. This morning I haven't heard anything. There was a press conference with IPA, which is Big Oil, and some others Big Oil. They are still pushing for 3%, which is only 1%, one tiny percent more than what they're at now. And that's still a whole heck of a lot less than what they used to be or what they should be. So I know for most everybody, 7% is certainly a regional average, still below the regional average. It's what we used to be. It's what most people are pushing for. And that really would be just a huge boon for our state's economy. It would keep state services, core services intact, and really help be a major part of what needs to be a package. It can't be just GPT. It can't just be cigarettes. It can't just be fuel tax, all this stuff. So I just ran inside for a couple minutes and spoke to a couple of different lawmakers, some in leadership, some that aren't, and John Eccles told me 99% sure that we'll be here tomorrow, that they'll still be doing stuff up here tomorrow, and probably Sunday as well. And then there's some concern that the total package at the end of the day, from 3 conversations I had today, that the package may be small. Like, some folks are thinking the best case scenario could be $600 million. I've heard as low as $280 million. And just for a reminder, 878 is like bare minimum of what we need. We really need like 1.2 billion to like fund what we have to fund, plus repay what they've got to repay from other bad decisions they've made with money. And so again, like every day, every conversation I've had that I've heard about is folks that are just making a plan what gets us to the end of the month, essentially. What do we need today to pay our bills this month for this year? And that's what we're going to try to do. And I don't hear a darn person up there talking about what happens next year. What happens 5 years from now? Now, I know the House is up for re-election next year, like they are every couple of years, and that means that maybe they won't be here in a couple of years. But that doesn't mean they shouldn't care, right? With term limits, people are only up here for 12 years max, right? And so I've been thinking about what Oklahoma could look like in 2030. That's a 13-year plan. And that means that no one who even got elected this year will be here then. And that's weird to think about. So I think that if you haven't already been thinking or talked to about the impact of term limits, this is what it is that it means that maybe lobbyists for 20 years or 30 years, have lots of institutional knowledge, but no one in this building has any idea what happened or why they did something a few years ago. And so the impact of future generations isn't always considered either. And I think we've got to have a leader. We've got to have someone or someones in the legislature, in the governor's office, and any kind of statewide office that is making a plan that's talking about what happens in 2030. 13 years, my son will be 18. Be able to vote, be an adult. What kind of life is he going to be inheriting? What do we want for our kids, for our grandkids? I think these are questions that people aren't discussing the way that they need to be. We need some vision, we need some leadership, we need someone to draw a plan out, set forth some goals and objectives for us to get there. And that starts with today. That starts with whatever negotiations are happening in this building right now, or not happening in this building right now. That we've got to not, and everyone's like, well, we got to fix what's happening right now. Yeah, like we definitely have to. And dang it, like they're not talking about enough money. If everything passes, they're saying it's going to pass, and we only get $300 million out of that, that means we're at least $500 million short. That means folks are going to get cut. higher ed's going to get cut. So my son won't be able to go to college. Won't be able to afford to go to college in 13 years. That means that rural hospitals are going to close. It means that DHS is going to lay off child welfare workers, and kids are going to remain in abusive and neglectful homes. It means that nursing homes are going to close, and that your parents, your grandparents, are going to have nowhere to live. They're going to have no care, no access to care. And it means, arguably, yesterday we had all these oil field people up here who are arguing to keep it where it's at. Actually, they were just arguing against raising the GPT. So we haven't talked about this, but last night, or yesterday afternoon, a bunch of Continental employees were bussed up here, and in a big bus with these fancy signs on nice paper, and they just said they wanted to keep it at 7%. They wanted to not have GPT at 7%. When we talked to some in the parking lot, just driving through, like, hey, what are you guys up here for? And they said they pretty much got handed a sign and said, get on the bus and come up here. And they said that they didn't want GPT to be at 7%. And we asked them, what do you want it at? And they said, just not 7%. Now is not the time. And we asked them, well, what is it right now? And they didn't know. They didn't know what GPT is right now. They're arguing for it to not be something else, but they don't know what it is now. And I said, what if it's 13%? What if we were advocating for it to be lowered? We could be helping you don't even know it. So they're just up here holding a sign, bussed by their employer just to hold a sign. It's ridiculous. So, anyway, for all the oil field workers, Oklahoma is up to 144 active wells as of today. Last year at this time, only 57. So we're up almost 100 wells over last year, and they are mostly in rural areas. So let's say they don't pass it. Let's say they don't raise GPT, or they raise it at 1%, a tiny fraction, and these rural hospitals still close. What happens to the roughneck on the rig who slams his finger down between a couple of pieces of giant high-pressure steel and has to go to the hospital? But the hospital is closed, and now he can't go to the hospital there. He has to drive like 4 hours to come here to OU Medical Center or somewhere, go to the nearest hospital, and suddenly he doesn't get to keep his thumb anymore. It gets cut off. What about all the oil field families who live in rural areas, whose schools might close, whose teachers are already leaving in droves? Because we're not just fighting for people in the metro areas. We're not just fighting for people here. No, arguably, we're fighting more for folks who live in rural areas. We're fighting more for people who rely on the oil and gas industry. They're not going to stop. They're not going to cut jobs in oil and gas. That's not where this money's going to come from. It's going to come from profits. They might make less profit, but that doesn't mean they're not going to cut jobs. They've invested $1 billion up the street here to drill in the scoop and stack play. They're not going to just let that go. They're going to drill. They're going to produce on that. This is the best oil, the cheapest oil in the country. They can get it out of the ground here on our flat ground for less money than anywhere else on the continent. They're investing money to costly extraction of tar sands in Canada, and then have to ship it in a pipeline down here to Oklahoma. Or they can go right up the road about 30 miles and suck it out of the ground for $30 a barrel. It's cheap. They're not going to pass up on that. And whatever they tell you otherwise is false. I get it. I get Harold Hamm. It's worth, $15 billion. How much more money does he need? $1 more. He always wants $1 more. His investors, many of whom are out of state, most of whom are out of state, shareholders, they want $1 more too. I'll tell you what I want: one more teacher, one more physician in a rural area to take care of someone's sick kid, one more flu vaccine, one more DHS worker. The world needs more teachers and social workers. We need to keep the good ones we have, and we need to attract better ones. And we need to invest in our state. I was born and raised in Texas, and I love my home state. But I'll tell you what, I love Oklahoma. We could be so great. And I haven't heard anyone say that we are a great state. Besides Galen Colfer. Is this a great state or what? So I'll say it, Oklahoma's awesome. We're freaking awesome. Oklahoma City's cool. Tulsa's cool. Rural areas are cool. The Kolache Festival, and the Watermelon Festival, and the Cheese Festival. Small town Oklahoma is awesome. We have so many beautiful parts of our state, and if we don't invest in it, then it's going to disappear. It's going to flounder. It's going to fall apart, and people are going to leave. are going to die. None of that is cool. All right, one question I see here from Amy: why is the parking lot so empty? I thought our state was in crisis. Amy, I admit that you're right. Now, to be fair, most of the legislators don't park in this parking lot. This is the south lot for visitors, and it's Friday. I was just inside. Also, it's lunchtime, or it was lunchtime. I was inside, and I only saw 2 lobbyists. One for OCPA, and one is a contract lobbyist. So there weren't many lobbyists up there. I did see 3 legislators, so maybe there's at least more of them lobbyists, and a couple of protesters. Crystal is inside. I saw her photo online earlier during the press conference this morning. She's got a sign that says 5% from day one. She's advocating for 5% GPT beginning day one, the day it's passed. And the other side says, I'm pissed, are you? And she's just walking around the 4th floor rotunda. And I saw her go up and speak to every representative she could. So I saw her talk to Todd Thompson, Senator Yin, Colin Walkie, John Eccles, making a point. And so kudos to her. She said, yesterday was busy up here, lots of folks. She couldn't make it yesterday. But she said, someone should be here all the time. We should have someone every day. And so she came up here. She said, if I'm the only one all day, then that's it. So kudos to her for being just a regular person who wants to come up and advocate and stand around. And she's not just standing there, like she's actually talking to people, which is the difference. So right now, every legislator I talk to, it's just they're waiting for a bill to be put up for vote. They will almost all of them will support an increase in GPT. They all want cigarette tax. Many of them want fuel tax. There's a whole bunch of folks. We've got the votes. Talking to a bunch of other advocates, we've easily got 76 votes to support all these revenue-raising measures. The only thing stopping it is it's not going up on the board. So they've got to put it for a vote. People can't vote for it if it's not on the board. I'm starting to wonder why it's not going for a vote. You've heard Speaker McCall say it's not going for a vote because it doesn't have the votes. But what if it does? What if it's not going for a vote because it does have the votes and he just doesn't want it to pass? You thought about that? I'm not a conspiracy theorist. This seems like the only plausible explanation. They put up other things that didn't have enough votes. People voted for those. So maybe they should put up this too. Just put it up there. Put it up 7%. Put up 5%. See what passes. If it fails, at least we know. Who voted for it, who voted for against it. But if it doesn't go for a vote, people can't vote for it. They're stopping it for a reason. Now, I've heard through some people who heard secondhand, this is not first-hand information, but I know that there's enough folks that are disgruntled that at least the topic of not really a recall election, but the speaker is elected by the body of the House, or of his constituency, of his caucus, and there is some discussion that made them pretty upset with Speaker McCall, and that maybe he is not leading, and thus he's perhaps not the right leader of the House. That's a bold thing to say. It's a bold thing for people to be contemplating. May not happen this session, but for next year, who knows? And I think that speaks that people here, us regular folks out in the community, and people in this building really want leadership. We want someone to stand up to do what's right for Oklahoma. That's what we need. That's what we want. Someone who's going to take the hard vote, let the hard vote happen, and talk about how important it is for the people of Oklahoma. No one wants to pay $1 in taxes more than we absolutely have to. Not me, not anybody. No one's up here advocating for a tax increase because we want to pay more money to the government. We want our government to spend the money correctly. We want them to have enough money to spend in a way that they can. There's always stuff to cut, always waste and fraud to find, whether it's in government, whether it's in business. A lot of the waste in government is because we set up bureaucracies to ensure that we don't waste money. And it ends up kind of being a deal. But what we can still do is make sure that, golly, right now we've got enough money to keep our government funded. All right, Jennifer says, the folks that are digging in their heels and continually voting against changes that help educating our children must not have kids in our schools. Must not have a great, I assume, public education. It cuts off there. Jennifer, if that's what the rest of it says, I totally agree with you. My kid starts public school next year. He'll be 5. He starts kindergarten next year. And looking ahead for the next 12 years of school and wondering what his school is going to be like. Is he going to have enough textbooks? Are his teachers going to leave? Or are they going to stay around? Amy wants to know who is fighting for the common person and who's for the oil and gas industry. I agree the only way to do that is to put it on the floor. Exactly right, Amy. If it's on the board, their names show up in red or green, depending on how they vote, right? That's all we want. We want it to be for a vote. So here's what you can do. I've got to run back to work, but keep calling. I know that the speaker and the pro tem's voicemails are full. That's awesome. Keep calling just in case they happen to clear them out. And then if not, send emails. Send it to charles.mccall@okhouse.gov, or Senator Schultz is Schultz at oksenate.gov. Schultz is SCHULZ. There's no T. SCHULZ at oksenate.gov. Send them emails. Tell them what's up. And also keep pressing your legislators. Whoever your House rep and your senator are, keep pressing them. Tell them that you want them to take a vote, and tell them that you want them to ask for a vote. They're not just sitting around worthless. Even if they're low on the totem pole, they can still, if enough people light them up, enough people keep pushing them, then they've got to do something. They'll go to their leadership and say, listen, I'm getting some heat from my constituents that they want these things to go for a vote. Whether it's as a package or it's individually, we've got to put stuff up there. We've got to figure out. We know what the target is. We know how much money we need. If you know how much money you need at the end of the month to pay all your bills, you're going to do everything you can to get there, right? Like if you know you got to pay your mortgage or your rent and your electric bill and your gas bill and your car payment, insurance and a water bill, you add them all up, you know what you got to pay. And you don't look at that and say, well, I've only got $300. That'll have to be good enough. And they'll have to deal with it. No, that's not the way the world works. That's not the way that Oklahoma should work for us. We know how much money we need. Let's see the money. Show me the money. All right. All right. I'll see you guys later. Have a great afternoon, great weekend. Tomorrow, we expect them to gavel in early in the day. I'll probably do another video around the middle of the day. And they'll probably be here Sunday. Sunday, they won't gavel in until like late in the day, like probably around 4 o'clock, to allow folks to go to church or whatever they want to do. People think it's funny that I stand out here with a life vest on. I'm not disagreeing. Our state is sinking. Someone's got to save it. All right, so stay tuned tomorrow. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook. We'll try to post updates whenever we hear anything worthwhile. All right, thanks. Have a good afternoon.